All right. So let's get down to business. I don't know what that is, but we can get down to it now.
They've been in business for 7 years, and they still don't know what they're doing. I guess a podcast seemed natural. Here's FounderQuest.
Today is April 2nd as we record this, and I'm so excited because I survived April Fool's Day without falling for anything online, like all the dumb stuff that happens on April Fool's Day.
I'm a little worried because I didn't notice any April Fool's lies. Now, granted, like I kind of checked out yesterday and I went for like a super long walk in Portland just because it was sunny and I wanted to get outside. So
that sounds really nice.
It was awesome. So I'm hoping that's the reason I don't, because otherwise I've been duped left and right, and like my whole world is false at this point.
I mean, last year there was that whole thing where people were just like, April Fool is canceled. No April Fools. And maybe that just kind of
skipped a year.
Like maybe that, I don't know. Maybe people are still sort of hesitant.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like Ben avoided falling for some. So did you see any good ones, Ben?
No, I never see any good ones because there are never any good ones. I dislike the whole notion of April Fool's Day. So yeah. I only saw 3 or 4, and they were all pretty obvious. Like I started reading, a press release or something. I'm like, oh, that's ridiculous. It's April Fool's Day. Moving on. So yeah, nothing particularly clever or great. So
I kind of like the obvious ones. I feel like, it's like they're not actually trying to trick anybody. They're just being silly.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it when companies do April Fools like product announcements where it's like they're announcing something that would be like amazing, but also it's obviously impossible because it's just too amazing to exist in the world.
Well, not quite April Fools, but Duke Cannon is a company that sells soaps and things like that, personal care items. And they typically do funny kinds of fake things. Like they have these this body wash that's really thick. The consistency is very thick because they think like runny body washes are for wimps, and they're all about manly stuff, right? The lumberjack in the woods with his soap, And
that's real healthy.
So they put out this set of posters, these fake posters of like thick, and a video, actually, I should link to the show notes, for thick beer. And it's like this, these old school 70s beer commercials. And these guys are drinking these beers that are like just super, super thick. And it's just ridiculous.
That sounds terrible.
It's like oatmeal.
So you can go to Duke Cannon like all year long to get that kind of funny stuff. But this year they actually did one of those joke things, but then they actually did it. And it was some sort of Irish body wash. Anyway, it was very green and minty, and they did it for St. Patrick's Day, but it was an actual real product. And so they're like, we really did it this time. And we bought some because, hey, we thought, check that out. And it's great. So
nice.
You can't get it now because it was just a one-time kind of thing. But, keep an eye on Duke Cannon throughout the year for fun, crazy stuff like that. And
I like that it pokes fun at itself, at least, because like, let's be honest, like I don't think the effectiveness of soap has anything to do with like its like thickness,
right?
And also like, I mean, I've had like thick shampoo and stuff, and honestly, like you put it in your hand, and then it gets hit by a little water, and it just slides right off of your hand, just like a solid object, and down the drain. So it's like, I mean, is that really better? Is that really? I don't know. I'm not the target.
But have you had thick beer?
No, but I always wanted to try pulque, which is a traditional Mexican beverage that it's made out of corn, but sounds like it's kind of in the spirit of thick beer.
Well, if you want my personal recommendation for a Duke Cannon product to try the Smells Like Productivity soap. It is awesome.
That's exactly the soap I would imagine you would have.
It's marketed. Ben is their audience.
Oh my God.
Ben wakes up every morning. He wakes up every morning at 3:30, jumps in the shower with his Smells Like Productivity.
Oh, That's so funny. Oh, I made a mistake. I said pulque is made out of corn. It's not. I was thinking of a different thing. Pulque is made out of the fermented sap of the maguey plant. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, it's made out of the same stuff they make like tequila out of, maybe?
I was totally going to call you on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody knows that in our audience, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. I did want to mention, just in case you probably have been hearing it, if you hear like pounding on walls in the background of this podcast, it's because I have people working on my house like directly behind my office, and there's no way around it. So rather than cancel the podcast, I figured we'd just deal with it.
That makes a lot of sense. So this week it's kind of exciting. After the podcast, I'm going to go and get the final kind of instructions to the first of our authors to be doing our new sort of experimental Honeybadger intelligence reports.
Nice.
Hibint.
Yeah. It's very, I really love the branding we've come up for this, just like internally, it's fun. So yeah, if you missed our last mention of that, basically, we have a hard time keeping up with all the different platforms that we support, I mean, not actually supporting them, but like keeping up with the news and events and like what's the cultural zeitgeist of, Python land right now. That stuff changes enough for like when you only do one language, right? So imagine having to keep up with like, I don't know, like how many libraries do you have? Like 8 or 10 or 6? I don't know.
Yeah, something.
A lot. Yeah.
A lot.
Like that.
Yeah. It's more than I have fingers on one hand. And so we're actually going to be hiring authors who are sort of experts in those fields to make us little quarterly reports about what's going on. And, we might share them with the public depending on how it goes, but yeah. I'm excited. And it also just it makes me realize that with any new sort of endeavor like this, especially when you're trying to get other people to do stuff for you, like working with other people, there's just, I don't know. It's just like, it always takes more time than you think, right? Because last week I was just like, okay, I'm just going to reach out to these people. And then I got a good number of replies. I was like, I'll figure out what to do with them next week. So I just I replied to everybody being like, I'll get back to you next week with details, thinking I'd get back to him like on Monday. And then Monday comes around, I've got all these meetings. And so I didn't get to it. And I'm realizing slowly, it's like, I've got to figure out what to do with these people, like what to tell them. So I was going to do it yesterday too, but then I started on it yesterday and I ended up actually writing stuff out. I was like, okay, I've got to make changes to all these people's repositories because I'm going to do this as issues on their, I got to make sure that it has the right file structure. And so just building these systems for people to work inside it always takes more work than I expect it to.
I'm sure this research engine that you're building will be very useful to us though.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be, I can see it being handy for I guess the number of languages we support are as many as we can handle kind of. And right now we're reaching the point where we're it's hard to juggle them and keep them all high quality. And so, I could see this going into new markets or finding new, if there's, something new we want to do, I could see pointing your researchers at it and tell us to come back with a bunch of intel about how to design it. What are best practices? Where do they hang out? What are their conferences? What are their meetups? That sort of stuff. Yeah,
that seems pretty reasonable. And I'm also starting to realize that this would be really useful for our own blog because if there's some topic blowing up in Laravel land, I'm not going to know about it really. But, if we get it mentioned in these reports, then maybe we can publish some content on it ourselves and just, follow those trends.
Yeah, we'll always just be 1 quarter late.
I mean, we are named after a dead meme, so.
It's our style.
Yeah, it's right. So there's always the first wave, right? There's a wave that crests. Everybody's talking about how microservices are great and all that. And then that wave crests. And then, you have a little trough, a little time. And then we'll be set to ride that second wave up where it's are microservices great? And then, so it'll just be...
Where are we with microservices now? Because that's you saying that just strikes me about how long ago that was that microservices were great. It's time really flies. Because now I'm thinking about the whole what was the monolith what was the thing that DHH?
The Majestic Monolith.
The Majestic Monolith, yeah. And even that feels like it was forever ago.
Yeah, I think we've probably got to the point with the microservices one where, the pendulum swung one way, and then the pendulum swung back the other way, and everyone's like, no, microservices, they all suck. And now we're back at the point where it's like, well, it might work for you in this situation.
We're back to whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. It's like, despite all the vitriol spilled and everything, it always ends up just being like, just do what works for you. It's
yeah.
cool.
TDD is dead. No, TDD is the best thing in the world. 10 years later.
Do it if you like it.
Yeah. It's like, it's okay to write tests after you write the code or before, whatever you want to do. The tests are still there at the end of the week. It doesn't matter.
But it's nice to have this pattern that we can at least count on in the tech industry where things come into fashion, things go out of fashion, and then things come back to a point of, stabilization where it's like, just do what works for your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. I feel like we got to start some of these though. If we're always just responding, we're never going to get that first mover advantage. So we got to start some religious wars, I think.
It's a good idea. Around what could we start a religious war?
Oh, I don't know.
Doesn't really matter.
It does. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, people do that over fonts, like programming fonts, there's Vim versus Emacs.
Yeah, there's editors. There's fonts.
Text editors, people.
There's you can even argue about which terminal program is best on the Mac to use.
Yeah.
There's do you want type safety or not? I mean,
if you really want to go all in, we could go all in on a text editor that is not VS Code or Vim. We could say both of those suck. And
Emacs?
Well, Emacs are what it doesn't
you could say TextMate is the one true editor, right? And then
yeah,
there you go. There's
there are still TextMate people out there, I think.
I saw a funny tweet the other day, speaking of editors, that was someone talking about the editors they've used over the years, and they had this timeline. And so it was 1995 VI and then whatever. And they switched to TextMate, and then they switched to Sublime, and then they switched to Atom, and then they switched to the current one was VS Code. There's every 2 or 3 years or whatever, there was a different editor. And then someone replied to that tweet, and it was BB Edit. The one line, used it for the past 25 years. I'm that props to that, dude.
They're probably really productive with it. If all that editor switching, really, I don't think it's the greatest idea.
I think people get restless, right? And so you always sort of searching for something that'll, I don't know, make a difference somewhere. But really, it's just you don't really maybe care about the difference. You don't really care about being more efficient, but it's the process of learning about it makes you feel more efficient. Especially maybe if the work you're doing isn't that much fun.
Oh man, I feel I've lost the last 10 years.
Not that I would ever do this, but if you're installing a new text editor, you can do that at work. And so that's a little bit of a little
it's working on your car.
It's a little self-care time, at work.
Yeah.
You get to do.
I think if you want the full experience, though, you have to compile your own text editor. I mean, that's where the craft is. I mean,
I did that when I switched to NeoVim.
Yeah, I think I've done that too.
Yeah,
you're preaching to the choir here, Ben.
You compiled your own text editor. I don't recommend it.
But you haven't?
I don't recommend it. That's why I use VS Code now. I don't really do a lot of heavy programming, but the thing is, it's Vim, I am much more efficient at text editing with, but then once a quarter, I have to spend 5 hours just troubleshooting some random bullshit about it. Or if I want to have it do some small new thing, I've got to it's just such a research project to dive into it, get it configured. And then, it's always changing out from underneath you. And VS Code just kind of works. I don't really know how it does it. It's running node crap in the background. It's running different languages. I don't know how it does it, but it just works.
I'm pretty sure it runs on money.
It runs on money. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive, I have to say. But I don't know. I've still struggled to go all in on I like switch to VS Code, I still find myself in Vim a lot just because it's so ingrained.
Yeah, these days I'm mostly in VS Code for code writing purposes, but I have a Vim extension in VS Code. So I still use all the Vim key bindings as I'm editing. So I still have that command mode stuff. But I spend a lot of my time editing in Vim that's not code because I'm hopping on servers or doing random little scripts here and there. Yeah. And so,
running all that YAML.
Yeah. So even though I've done the TextMate thing and I've done, others, I guess. I dabbled with BBEdit and it never really stuck in my brain. So I didn't really go with that. But I've always used Vim. Always loved Vim since I first started hopping onto, Unix computers back in the day. Vim is always there, or VI is always there. And so once you know that, you're always got an editor handy.
Yeah, unless you have your own super tweaked out config file, at which point none of you get used to none of the defaults.
Yeah, I've managed to avoid that little trap.
So I've got a question. This is off topic.
We have a topic.
This is all off topic.
Oh, I know. Actually, this is a little bit more on topic for the overall podcast. It's just not about editors. So you guys did the sort of virtual microconf thing last week, and sort of after that, I noticed that we're sort of moving towards, I think, getting listed on AppSumo. Is that right? I was just curious, what happened at MicroConf that prompted that interest?
Well, it actually first came up before MicroConf when Ben Finley did some research into the AppSumo marketplace. So this was back a month ago or so. And so he suggested that we do it. And it seemed like a reasonable idea at the time, but I didn't really move on it until I saw that presentation from Ruben Gomez at MicroConf, where he talked about his AppSumo experience with DocSketch. So when he did that, I went back to look at Ben's post on Basecamp about AppSumo. I'm like, yeah. And now that I'm more focused on the growth side of the business, I'm like, oh yeah, could be a good opportunity for us to grab some customers. So that was the impetus.
Okay, awesome. And that would mean we'd be included in a bundle of discounted things that people get, or is it we do our own promo? Or
no? So it used to be that AppSumo just had this daily deal.
That's the AppSumo that I know. Yeah, and I know they've changed a lot since then, but I've never really quite grokked
me too.
What they do now.
I'm not quite sure how they do it now.
Yeah, so they still have that. You can still be on their daily deal thing, and they still have. I think as far as I know, they still have the same process they've always had. Of they reach out to people that they think would be good good placements on their site, and they work with you with copy editing and blah 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 blah. But the newer thing that they have that goes along with that is what they call their marketplace. And so you can list your product on their marketplace and still there's a deal feeling to it. They still want you to have a big discount or something to make it, interesting to the kinds of people who are already part of the AppSumo universe. But this is an ongoing thing. It's not a one-time deal. It's not a bundle deal. It's not a time-limited deal. It's an ongoing I get a promotion for AppSumo customers, basically, is what it is.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So the plan, if you sign up through AppSignal for Honeybadger, you get the AppSumo deal plan for as long as you're a customer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nice. So as far as I understand it, the way it works for SaaS is an AppSumo customer will buy the deal at the AppSumo site, and you provide AppSumo a promotion code that customer can then come to your site and sign up using your sign up flow, but entering that promotion code so that they get a free or discounted period of service as a result of using that code, right? So they buy it at AppSumo. They don't buy at your site initially, but if they, let's say you give away, I don't know, a 30% off for a year. So they would buy the discounted thing, that year's worth minus 30% at AppSumo, get a promotion code, come to your site, into the promotion code and get that year's worth of service for no charge. And then at the end of that year, should they decide to continue being a customer, then you would, take their payment information.
Oh, okay.
Blah, 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 like normal.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like it kind of works. I think that's how they do the daily, other services do that. Basically when you sign up, you get they just hand you a promo code that you use at whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I assume that like we're getting a split from the money that AppSumo collects, or is it just
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
That seems a little bit more promising than
Yeah, so AppSumo has a payment term of net 60 because they allow for their customers to claim a refund up to 60 days after the purchase. So customer shows up at AppSumo, buys a thing for Honeybadger, and then could use that promotion code immediately, could maybe not use the promotion code right away. They don't necessarily have to sign up right away. And then 60 days later, AppSumo would then cut a check to Honeybadger for whatever that purchase price was minus the percentage that AppSumo keeps.
Okay, yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder, like the 60-day refund thing is like, it's in my mind is conceptually similar to like a free trial, right? So I was just wondering, like, what if we've had like a 2-week trial for the longest time, but what if we had like a 30-day trial or something longer? Because that might appeal to people. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you a little secret.
What's the secret?
While we advertise a 2-week trial, we actually have kind of a 4-week trial.
Oh, because of all the collection, like
yeah, because of the delays, and we retry the billing so many times. So the actual invoice comes due. The first invoice comes due 2 weeks after they sign up. That's the technical end of the trial. But we continue to retry that invoice, for however many days, and that gives them effectively by the time, and then we give them some grace period. Even after the billing fails, we still give a grace period of a few days.
Yeah.
So basically, it works out to you can get about 4 weeks worth of free service if you really want to.
But still, like if they do sign up, it's all going to be backdated so that they're
true.
They only got 2 weeks free.
Right.
So we can't really advertise like a 4-week trial because,
right.
We wouldn't be giving that to people.
And we still have people taking us up on our shirt offer where if they enter their payment information before the trial ends, and they get an awesome t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. So I've been meaning to talk about this. I started using an app. So I've been trying to sort of learn about the stock market and everything. And I'm not really throwing gobs of money into it in any sort of way, but I've been trying to learn. And so I signed up for a subscription for this app called TradingView, which is like, it's a stock charts app, right? And it's very advanced and stuff. Anyway, so like, I'm a huge fan of this app. Like, having built apps, like I know what a very good app looks like, a web app. And this is a extremely good web app. Like it takes so much. Like I had a dream the other night where I met the CEO of TradingView, and I cornered him and I was like, you need to pay your developers more because you have no idea how good of a job they're doing for you. Like it's like occasionally you see a piece of work that is like very, very good. And, so the reason I mentioned that is that I did sign up for a paid plan. And during the free trial, though, they have like up at the very top of the screen, and it's very well designed, but also very obvious, like spot. It's like, you have so many days left of your free trial. If you upgrade before your trial ends, you can get up to 60% off. And I've heard from some people, like this didn't happen to me, but I've heard from some people like that number would increase as your trial went along. And so I thought that, like, I don't know if that exact thing makes sense for us. I think that we could definitely like call out upgrade options and benefits upgrading and stuff like that for trial users in a more obvious way.
Do it a little more, or even more frequently. Like, they get the first shirt offer, and if it doesn't work, we could just offer them 2 shirts, then 3 shirts, and then a whole wardrobe.
It'll go up exponentially. If you weigh out your whole trial, you'll get like a kilobyte of shirts.
Do you remember back in the shareware days when you would try out? They had this one kind of shareware where it would delay in the application before you had to do the thing. Like if it was a file directory listing thing, like you would open up you would run the executable, and then there would be this modal. It would be like 5 seconds until you can actually use the thing.
Oh, 5, 4, 3,
But if you purchased, obviously that delay would go away. So we should totally do that. Like on the free trial, like the longer you get into your trial, when you go to view an error, we show like a full page modal, like, oh, we'll let you see your error in 3 seconds and then count down, right? And then as you get closer to the end of the trial, like the timer goes up and up. It's like, oh, after tomorrow, you're not gonna be able to see this at all, but now you have to wait for 15 seconds.
Yeah. Or if you really want to be evil, just put a spinner on it and don't tell them how long it is, but make it a randomly determined.
Ooh, that's yeah.
Just say you have to wait.
And then next level, you take it to make it a progress bar that actually goes the wrong way. Sometimes it actually goes back. Right?
This is amazing. This is sounding like Undertale, this game that I love.
Kind of like ideas like this remind me of the other day when I was my idea for like our free plan was like, because we were talking about like limits for free users, that we could, if we're going to change it up to encourage more people to upgrade or whatever. And like, you always see things like features, but I was like, what if if you're on the free plan, you just get like a grayscale version of Honeybadger? Like, it's just not it's just kind of bland. And then all of the call to action, all of the upgrade messages, of course, would really pop, like they'd be full color, like that have like Honeybadgers on them, like in full color.
I might actually prefer grayscale. So you might need to make it kind of like a beige, kind of like like pants were in the 90s, just
like, khaki. What's that, like 70s green that all the like refrigerators were?
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. You never know, like what's going to work.
So I had the funniest realization yesterday, which was, how, a long time ago, like all the open source people and all the, I don't know, like all the small software people, like Bill Gates was like the enemy. They had like Bill Gates, Photoshop is like the Borg, and Microsoft was like the devil and everything. And so like just for fun the other day, because I don't know, I just got it into my head. I was like, I've got this old laptop, maybe I'll install Windows on it, this old MacBook. And so I went to do that. And so now they let you download, you can just go to Microsoft and get an ISO of Windows, and you can just install it on the thing, and it'll just like pop up a message. I was just like, holy shit, like Windows is shareware now. That's so wild. I mean,
did you didn't get it through Two Cows?
No, I didn't. I got it straight from their site, but maybe I guess you're not supposed to share it. So it really felt like shareware. It's like, I'm just going to install this. I'm going to see if I like it for a while. Maybe if I actually use it, I'll pay for it eventually if I feel like it. But yeah, I thought that was funny.
Gotta say, speaking of Windows, that's definitely one of the perks of living near Microsoft. Is I have all these friends that work at Microsoft, and they have an annual allotment of money they can spend at the company store to buy things like Windows licenses. And they get, of course, employee discounts. And so anytime you want a new version of Windows, like just go bug one of your Microsoft friends. They've probably got some extra budget in their account that they can use for you. And so you can get that employee discount. So nice.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That around here, that reminds me of around here it's Nike. Like we have some friends, like I have a friend whose dad like works at like in the Nike like accounting department. They have the same deal at the Nike store. Like they've taken us over there before, and like, it's a annual thing.
Nice.
That's so funny. Yeah. And I learned about I forget the name of it, but there's a site where you can basically buy license keys that like, it's legit. Like somebody had a license, they sell it to this third-party distributor or the third-party website, and then that website will sell it to you. So you can actually get a Windows license, like an OEM Windows license for like $30, like significantly less. And they have it for lots of different apps. I thought it was a cool concept.
I still remember buying the box version of MS-DOS 6. That was awesome.
We should make a Honeybadger box. I mean, while we're doing like physical, like, we're doing the zine or whatever, which I totally want to do. Like, I've been meaning to think about it.
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast, and we got some great responses on Twitter.
You've been meaning to talk about it. That's like fixing to get ready.
I've been fixing to like think about like brainstorming ideas for it. but yeah, like I could see that going out with like Honeybadger software box with like your coupon code or whatever, serial number in it, and then you can use that to sign up on the website.
Oh wait, I did see an April Fool's thing yesterday. I didn't fall for it. It was like somebody came up with like a special limited edition, like physical boxed version of Zoom, and it includes all these like promos, like golden sweatpants and just like a bunch of silly stuff.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the little internet in a box days. Actually, Josh, you made me think talking about promotion codes, because with that AppSumo work that I did, we now have the ability to support promotion codes. So we could
with where you generate like a bunch of them and then you can
we could actually print up a bunch of mailers and send them out to people with a promotion code on it that says, hey, sign up for Honeybadger and get whatever discount.
There you go.
Think about doing that. I've long wanted to do a direct mail kind of experiment with Honeybadger, just like buy a directory of every software agency in the US. I don't know if that's even available, and then just send them a little postcard like, hey, check out Honeybadger. So now that we have promotion codes, that'd be even better.
Oh, here's an idea for conference swag. Fortune cookies, and you open up the fortune cookie and there's a little promotion code in there for you.
Nice.
Just a little sweet treat from your friends at Honeybadger.
So Josh, I want to help you out here. I want to give you a warm fuzzy. I was looking through our signups because I'm doing that now. Like every day, I'm checking out the signups and I'm emailing people, which has been good. It's been educational, but we do track where people come from when they hit the site, and we store that. And you'll be happy to know that we got a sign up this week whose initial landing page was exceptional creatures.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yay!
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's really cool.
Where are we storing that? Like, what system is capturing that?
So we just have some JavaScript on the main sales site that just saves the refer to a cookie. And then when they complete the sign up process in the app, then that cookie value is saved to the database.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that exists. I've actually looked at that recently. I thought, well, you've been like signing up for these salesy things. I thought maybe you had some sales app or something that was giving you all sorts of information.
No, actually, so I tried PostHog and the free version, the self-hosted version, and it's not good for what we want. It's fine for what it is, but it's just not going to be great for us. So I went back to just use the things that we already have in place, and now there's no more PostHog.
Oh well, we'll have some post bacon in a couple weeks.
Oh boy. This is exciting though, because this means that Exceptional Creatures finally paid for itself.
Well, it's probably not the first.
I think it's probably not the first. I don't know if our listener, like all of our listeners probably don't know what we're talking about, because Exceptional Creatures was like years back. It's just been, been around now. But go to exceptionalcreatures.com and you'll see what we're talking about. It's I don't know. We could explain what it is, or we could, it could be like a fun little surprise for you. It's if you're a Rubyist, like you'll probably really dig it.
Yeah, it's a little Easter egg.
Yeah,
it's
one of our Honeybadger passion projects.
Yeah, and it's also one of those random kind of marketing efforts, right? You put out a content site that pulls people in that's not directly about Honeybadger, but it's kind of funneling people to Honeybadger. So.
Yeah. I've thought about I've thought about like doing more creatures on it at some point. It'd be kind of fun to keep it going,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so they should.
Yeah, it would be. It's like that's one of the hardest things about marketing, especially the type of, especially like content marketing and things that aren't directly like leading into a funnel. Like hopefully we'll have some high powered sales process happening. So all we need to do is have people download some white papers and get them into a funnel. And then we'll have some, I would love nothing more than to have sort of a marketing approach where we have these very concrete outcomes and we can, be like, okay, this worked. Let's do more of this. But yeah, with content marketing and stuff like that, it's like you put something out there and you kind of get little hints over the years that, it's working. And that's good, but it's not like immediate feedback. Like I really kind of
Yeah.
I would love some immediate feedback.
I have a hunch that all of that plays a big part in our word of mouth and the people, like the way that people, like we always have people telling us, like when we ask them why they signed up, that, you know, they've heard, like friends of theirs or people they worked with told them like they loved Honeybadger and, you know, they heard great things about it. But, you know, that could be they were raving about the product, but it's also possible that they were also raving about just Honeybadger in general. It's not necessarily just the product, but, you know, maybe they love our blog posts, maybe they love our podcast, maybe they saw Exceptional Creatures and they love that we did that. Like, it's not, right. I think it's the whole package that people love. So
you're saying we're the total package?
Yes. Okay. Exactly. We're the total package SaaS.
Yeah, that's why they should use us, because we're the total package.
Yeah, and if you give us your mailing address, we'll mail you a collector edition box set.
Oh, there you go.
Honeybadger.
I don't know, like what would be a good collector's edition for like people who have to deal with errors a lot?
Yeah, we can send them some a care package kind of thing with Tylenol and some facial tissues, you know, for all the crying that they do, and maybe like a little back massager for having been hunched over the laptop while they're fixing their errors, you know. And maybe some aromatherapy oils to help relax after they get past.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like some peppermint or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we could. We should get bid on this.
Some like herbal tea, some chamomile.
Mm-hmm. And then like maybe a sleep mask so they can get back to sleep after they've been up at 4 a.m.
You know, we should do a giveaway amongst our users for like an all-inclusive spa package. Hey. You know, get some cucumbers, get, you know, a pedicure, get like some aromatherapy, some warm, I don't know, like a massage or something.
I like it.
All right. So yeah, this is how the sausage is made. This is exactly what goes on in our meetings.
This is where we get all our ideas, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. You've been listening to FounderQuest. If you want to go give us a review at Apple Podcasts, that'd be awesome. If you want to write for us, potentially maybe work on these intelligence reports for us, we look for authors and we pay well. Go to our blog at honeybadger.io. Find the blog. That's your first assignment. That's your first test. Find the link at the top that says write for us, and it'll have instructions. So that's all. I will see you guys later. I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope y'all find a lot of Easter eggs, and I hope they're the kind with candy inside and not the kind with like eggs inside.
FounderQuest is a weekly podcast by the founders of Honeybadger. Zero instrumentation, 360-degree coverage of errors, outages, and service degradations for your web apps. If you have a web app, you need it. Available at honeybadger.io. Want more from the founders? Go to FounderQuestPodcast.com. That's one word, where you can access our huge back catalog of episodes. FounderQuest is available on iTunes, Spotify, and other purveyors of fine podcasts. We'll see you next week.